So if you look at the conditions today at Oracle Park, there's a 12.8 mile per hour wind blowing dead out to center left field.
Right, which is massive.
Yeah. I mean, for a casual fan buying a ticket, that just means you need to bring a heavy jacket to the ballpark.
Exactly.
But for us, staring down today's betting slate, it means a hitter like Rafael Devers just went from a pretty solid bet to an absolute mathematical wrecking ball.
Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone.
Glad to be here.
I was looking at this GreenMadness MLB Lab IntelliGrid data you sent over earlier, and I have to admit,
Yeah.
it looks less like a baseball stats sheet and more like a fight manual for a stealth bomber.
It really does. Yeah. It's intense.
Usually if I'm looking for a betting edge, I'm checking a pitcher's recent momentum or maybe some basic left-right splits. But you're telling me I need to be calculating wind vectors and microscopic backpath geometry.
If you want to stop guessing and start mathematically isolating your wins, then yes, absolutely.
We are leaving the gut feeling behind entirely today. Think about it this way. We're mapping the battlefield before a single pitch is even thrown.
Right.
You can look at a batter's recent hot streak all you want, but if you don't understand the environmental reality they're walking into or, the precise physical mechanics of the pitcher they're facing, you're flying blind.
Makes sense.
Environmental factors are really the engine that dictates how all this granular data actually plays out on the field.
All right, well, I'm strapping in. Let's start with that wind vector in San Francisco because that immediately caught my eye on the grid.
It's a huge edge.
Yeah, because Oracle Park is traditionally a graveyard for hitters. You've got that heavy, cold bay air, usually sitting around, 60 degrees?
Yep, right around there.
Which naturally suppresses ball flight. A ball that's a home run in Cincinnati just dies at the warning track in San Francisco. So how does this 12.8 mile per hour west wind actually change the math for us today?
Well, it fundamentally flips the geometry of the park. When you have a sustained wind of that velocity pushing out, you are artificially extending the barrel of the bat.
Meaning what, exactly?
Meaning a standard fly ball suddenly carries an extra 15 to 20 feet.
Oh, wow. That's the difference between a loud out and a double in the gap.
Exactly. But here is the critical part. You don't just blindly bet every hitter in the lineup just because the wind is blowing.
Right, because not everyone has the same swing.
Precisely. You cross-reference that wind with the IntelliGrid's matchup edge scores to see whose specific swing mechanics are already primed to elevate the ball against today's starting pitchers.
Okay, so we're looking for the guys who already have the mechanical advantage, and the wind just acts as the accelerant.
That's a great way to put it.
So who does the grid highlight for us?
It shows two massive batter versus pitcher, or BVP, edges.
Okay.
First is Kyle Karros facing Robbie Ray. Karros is currently hitting an absurd .571 across 7 plate appearances against Ray.
I see that on the sheet, but I have to play devil's advocate here for a second.
Go for it.
7 plate appearances is a tiny sample size in baseball. I mean, a guy can get lucky on a bloop single or a fielding error, and suddenly he's batting over .500. Are we really trusting a 7 at-bat sample?
It's a fair question.
Yeah.
But we trust it because of the underlying metric, which is visual tracking.
Visual tracking.
Yeah. Hitting a baseball is primarily about picking up the pitcher's release point early. When a batter sustains a .571 average, even in a small cluster like that, the data tells us that Karras's eyes are perfectly calibrated to Ray's specific arm slot.
Oh, I get it. So he's seeing the spin of the ball out of the hand instantly.
Exactly. He's not getting fooled. But listen, if you want a larger sample of sheer dominance, we look at the second edge, which is Rafael Devers facing Tanner Gordon.
Oh, Devers is always a threat.
Right. And Devers is hitting .600 against Gordon. Plus, he boasts a highly stable 70% last 20 platoon hit rate.
Okay, so a 70% hit rate against right-handed pitching over his last 20 platoon matchups.
Yep.
That means his timing is completely dialed in right now. But let's break down the mechanics here.
Yep.
If Devers is already crushing Gordon and his swing is dialed in, are we betting on Mother Nature today or are we betting on muscle memory? Because if that wind suddenly dies down in the 5th inning, does this entire betting angle just fall apart?
Not at all. And that is the beauty of layering the data.
Okay, walk me through it.
Devers' muscle memory, his ability to read Tanner Gordon's fastball and specifically match its plane. That's the foundation of the bet. The 12.8 mile per hour wind is just your insurance policy.
Ah, I see.
Right, so if Devers slightly mishits a ball off the end of the bat, normally an easy pop out to shallow left, that wind grabs it and pushes it into the gap for a double.
So you're basically betting on his elite swing mechanics, and the wind just drastically widens his margin for error.
You nailed it.
I love that framing. It's like racing a sports car, right? The engine is the BVP data, but that wind is a massive tailwind pushing you to the finish line.
That's exactly what it is.
But let's look at the other side of the coin, because if the wind can act as an insurance policy for a hitter, weather in general is still a variable, right?
Always.
So if you want to eliminate environmental variance entirely, you have to take the ball out of play.
Meaning strikeouts.
Exactly. You target strikeouts. Because a strikeout doesn't care about wind, it doesn't care about a bad bounce in the infield. It's just pure pitcher versus batter isolation.
Precisely. And if you want to safe floor your betting portfolio today, the IntelliGrid has actually isolated 2 strikeout snipers for the over 5.5 strikeouts prop line.
Okay, let's hear them.
We're looking at pitchers with microscopic expected ERAs, their xERA, combined with elite whiff rates.
Well, I was scanning the board earlier, and Braxton Ashcraft for the Pirates really jumped out at me.
Oh, absolutely.
He's facing Milwaukee today, and his expected ERA is sitting at .28, which is, frankly, practically non-existent.
It's incredible.
And his strikeout rate, his K percentage, is a stout 26.3%. But honestly, I'm always worried a high K rate is a trap.
Why is that?
Well, I've seen guys rack up strikeouts just because an umpire woke up in a generous mood and started calling strikes 3 inches off the plate, you know?
Sure, umpire variance is real.
Right. So talk me out of fading Ashcraft.
I will talk you out of fading him by looking at his 13.9% whiff rate.
Okay, the whiff rate.
Right. That is the metric that separates the true dominators from the guys who are just getting lucky with umpires.
Right.
Strikeout percentage is just the end result of an at-bat. But whiff rate, the percentage of total pitches that batters swing at and miss entirely, that's the underlying physical process.
So a called strike 3 is relying on the umpire's scorecard, but a whiff means the batter physically tried to hit the ball and just couldn't touch it.
Exactly right. And a 13.9% whiff rate is massive. It tells us that Ashcraft's pitches have late life.
Like a slider biting late.
Exactly. Maybe his slider bites at the very last millisecond, or his fastball has this rising illusion to it. Whatever the mechanism is, batters are committing to the swing, and the ball is simply not where their brain computed it would be. When a pitcher is generating that much empty air, the over 5.5 line becomes highly actionable, because the outcome is entirely within his own physical control, not the umpire's.
You're betting on the physical reality of a swinging strike. Okay, I'm sold on Ashcraft, but you mentioned a second strikeout target where the environmental variance is completely zeroed out.
I did. Parker Messick for Cleveland, facing Miami.
Let's pull his numbers up.
Messick presents a nearly identical statistical profile to Ashcraft, an expected ERA of .28, a strikeout rate of 25.1%, and a highly elite 12.6% whiff rate. But the real edge here is location. He's pitching at Lone Depot Park in Miami.
Oh, the roof is closed. It's an indoor, climate-controlled stadium.
Exactly. 0% wind factor, 0% temperature fluctuation.
Wow.
When you have a pitcher like Messick who relies heavily on precision, movement, and generating that 12.6% whiff rate, putting him in a sterile, climate-controlled environment removes the final layer of baseball chaos.
That's wild to think about.
Right. A sudden gust of wind won't blow his breaking ball out of the zone. The heavy air won't slow down his fastball. It is pure, uninterrupted physics in a sterile laboratory.
The sterile laboratory for a strikeout artist? I mean, it makes total sense. But, you know, even the most elite pitchers, the guys living in that sterile laboratory, have their kryptonite.
They do.
Which brings us to what might be the most fascinating feature of the IntelliGrid data you provided today, the zero margin alerts.
Yeah, this is where it gets really interesting. This is where we stop looking at the broad strokes of a game and zoom in on the atomic level of an at-bat.
Okay.
The grid flags,
Yeah.
highly specific, critical moments where a dominant pitcher faces their absolute worst algorithmic nightmare.
Right. And I'm looking at Hunter Greene for Cincinnati. On paper, his baseline metrics are terrifying.
Elite.
We're talking about an expected ERA of .29. He has a 31.6% strikeout rate, meaning he's striking out almost a third of every batter he faces, and a 16.8% whiff rate. The guy is a total buzzsaw.
He is.
But your system is flashing a giant red alert saying he has zero margin for error when he specifically faces Sal Stewart.
That's right.
Now, Stewart is a good hitter. He's got a .351 expected weighted on base average, or XWOBA, but I have to call a timeout here.
What's the concern?
Doesn't elite top-tier velocity just overpower a standard batter in the macro.
Mhm.
Like, why are we suddenly pretending Hunter Greene is vulnerable to this one specific guy? Are we overthinking the micro data?
It's a natural question, but no, we aren't overthinking it. Because baseball isn't a game of macro averages. It's a game of microscopic matchup vulnerabilities.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Overall stats, like Greene's 31.6% K rate, reflect how he dominates the average batter's swing profile. But Sal Stewart does not have an average swing profile in this context.
So what's actually happening in the batter's box between these two? Walk me through the physics.
Well, Hunter Greene generates those massive whiff rates primarily by throwing a high, rising, four-seam fastball. It lives at the very top of the strike zone.
Right, the high heat.
Exactly. And most batters have a slight uppercut in their swing path, which means their bat naturally swings onto Greene's fastball. They just swing through empty air. But Sal Stewart has one of the flattest, highest bat paths in the league.
Oh. Ah, I see where this is going.
Right. Stewart's natural swing plane intersects perfectly with the exact coordinate where Greene's high fastball ends up.
Wow.
Greene's greatest weapon, the pitch he relies on to get out of jams, is structurally designed to feed right into Sal Stewart's strongest swing path.
That's insane.
That is why the margin for error is 0. If Greene misses his spot by half an inch, Stewart's .351 xWOBA tells us he isn't just going to make contact, he's going to do severe damage.
It's like a boxer who always drops his left hand when he throws a right hook.
That's a great analogy.
Right. It doesn't matter if he's the heavyweight champion of the world. If he fights a guy specifically trained to throw an overhand right at that exact opening, he's getting knocked out. Sal Stewart is trained for Hunter Greene's exact opening. And you've got another one of these alerts for Shohei Ohtani, right?
We do. Ohtani is pitching for the Dodgers today, boasting a .26 by ERA and a 15.1% whiff rate. Again, just elite macro numbers.
Unbelievable numbers.
But the grid issues a zero margin alert when he faces Tommy Troy of the Diamondbacks for the exact same physical reasons.
The bat path.
Yes. The pitch shape uniquely matches the bat path.
So what happens when a pitcher hits that exact vulnerability? When Hunter Greene throws that high fastball and Sal Stewart's flat bat path connects with it perfectly,
The ball ends up in the bleachers.
which is the perfect transition into the launch flight studies. I love this section. This is the premium high probability home run report of the day.
It is.
Usually if someone tells me they're betting on a player to hit a home run, I assume they're just throwing darts blindfolded. You know, you're just hoping a guy gets a hold of one.
Right. If it's like a lottery ticket to most people.
Exactly. But looking at this data, you've isolated Fernando Tatis Jr. of the Padres today. And I want to know why this isn't just a dart throw.
Because we are mathematically isolating the failure point of the pitcher. Tatis has a .369 xWOBA and a .149 isolated power metric, or ISO.
Just to ground that number for a second for everyone listening, an ISO of .149 means Tatis is hitting the gaps, producing extra bases regularly, but he's not necessarily hitting 450-foot absolute bombs every single time he steps to the plate.
Correct.
It's solid power, but it's not Barry Bonds territory. So why is this a premium home run target today?
Because of who is standing on the mound, Tatis is facing Shane Bieber of Toronto, and Bieber is bleeding home runs right now.
How bad is it?
Overall, he's allowing a catastrophic 4.15 home runs per 9 innings.
Oh, man.
It gets worse. When you look at his splits against right-handed batters like Tatis, that number spikes to 5.06 home runs per 9 innings.
Giving up over 5 home runs per 9 innings to righties, that's a systemic failure. What is mechanically breaking down for Bieber right now?
His slider has lost its horizontal sweep.
Oh, no.
Yeah, instead of breaking sharply away from right-handed batters and diving toward the dirt, his release point has flattened out entirely.
So it's just hanging there.
The slider is hanging right over the inner half of the plate.
Yeah.
And what does a power-hitting righty like Fernando Tatis Jr. do best?
He turns on insect pitches and pulls them in the air to left field.
Exactly.
So Tatis isn't just hoping for a mistake. He's facing a pitcher who is currently physically incapable of stopping himself from throwing that exact mistake.
Mathematically incapable right now, yes.
And you've got Pete Alonso of Baltimore in a similar spot against Luinder Avila of Kansas City. Alonso's ISO is sitting at .240, which is pure, unadulterated slugger territory.
Exactly. Alonso's .390 xWOBA combined with that .240 ISO means when he makes contact, the ball is heavily damaged.
Right.
And Avila possesses a similarly disastrous home runs per 9 split against power righties. We aren't guessing if Tatis or Alonso will hit a home run. The data tells us that Bieber and Avila are statistically guaranteed to serve up high-danger pitches right into their specific damage zones.
We're isolating the exact friction points where the pitcher's mechanics break down.
I love it. Okay, we've mapped the wind vectors in San Francisco. We've isolated the true whiff rates for our strikeout snipers. We've unpacked the physics of the zero margin alerts. And we've found the mechanical flaws fueling today's home run targets.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We have. Now it's time to bring it all together for the listener. I want the ultimate winning blueprint. Give us the top 3 highest confidence plays to conquer today's betting board.
Here is the blueprint. Play number 1, we are taking Shohei Ohtani as a batter today, over 1.5 total bases at minus 110 odds.
Walk us through the edge on Ohtani.
He is facing Eduardo Rodriguez. Right now, Ohtani boasts a staggering 93% last 20 platoon hit rate.
93%.
Yes, that means in his last 20 favorable platoon matchups, he's recorded a hit 93% of the time. It is borderline automatic.
That's crazy.
And his historical BVP against Rodriguez proves he sees the ball perfectly out of his hand. Ohtani is hitting .304 across 23 plate appearances against him. That isn't a fluke. It's a massive sample size of sustained success. Yeah, a 93% hit rate in optimal platoon spots is the definition of high confidence. I love it. What is play number 2?
Play 2 takes us all the way back to our environmental laboratory at Oracle Park in San Francisco. We are taking Rafael Devers over 1.5 total bases at plus 120 odds.
Plus money on a mathematical wrecking ball. Remind everyone why we're locking this one in.
We have 3 layers of converging data. First, the 12.8 mile per hour Oracle Park tailwind acting as our insurance policy, pushing the ball to left center field. Second, Devers' dialed-in mechanics, shown by his 80% last 10 platoon hit rate. And third, his absolute ownership of Tanner Gordon batting .600 against him.
Amazing.
The mechanics, the history, and the weather are in perfect alignment.
The sports car with the massive tailwind, I'm hammering that one personally. And for the final piece of the blueprint, play number 3.
Play 300 Greene over 6.5 strikeouts.
Wait, hold on a second.
I know.
We just spent 5 minutes dissecting how Sal Stewart's flat bat path is Hunter Greene's ultimate kryptonite. We literally said he has zero margin for error today. Now you're telling me to bet his strikeout over.
Yes. And this is where you have to separate the micro from the macro to find the value.
Okay, explain that.
We aren't ignoring the zero margin alert. We're contextualizing it. Hunter Greene might have absolutely zero margin for error when Sal Stewart is in the batter's box. Stewart might take him deep.
Right.
But Greene doesn't just pitch to Sal Stewart. He has to pitch to the entire Cubs lineup. Against the other 8 batters, his underlying 31.6% strikeout rate and his 16.8% whiff rate are simply too dominant to ignore.
Oh, that is brilliant. You acknowledge the specific vulnerability, but you don't let it blind you to the overarching dominance of the pitcher's stuff against everyone else.
Exactly. He will rack up the 7 empty swings he needs to cash this ticket across the rest of the lineup, even if Stewart gives him trouble twice a game. You use the micro data to understand the risk, but you bet the macro data for the volume.
That is a masterclass in risk assessment right there. You play the macro against the micro. So, Ohtani for total bases, Devers for total bases with the wind, and Greene for the punch-outs, despite the sniper alert. That is a lethal blueprint.
It really is. And, stepping back from the betting slips for a second, looking at all this data raises an incredibly compelling question, something for you to really mull over.
What's that?
Well, for over a century, we've looked at baseball as this deeply romantic game. We talk about the crack of the bat, the smell of the grass, the magic of a walk-off hit in the bottom of the ninth.
Sure, all the intangibles.
But today, we've sat here and mapped out a game, pitch by pitch, using precise wind vectors, microscopic whiff rates, and hyper-specific swing path geometries.
Right, we're talking about intersections of bat paths and fastballs like we're solving a physics equation.
Exactly. So the question is, at what point does the magic or the luck of baseball completely disappear? If we have the technology to isolate the exact friction points where a pitcher's mechanics break down, leaving only pure engineered mathematics, is there any mystery left? Or is it just data waiting to be decoded?
That is a deep thought to end on. I mean, if we can calculate exactly when Tanner Gordon's hanging pitch is going to mathematically meet Rafael Devers' bat, propelled by a 12.8 mile per hour wind, maybe luck was just a word we used before we had the IntelliGrid.
Exactly.
Listen, I want to thank you for bringing this incredibly sharp data to the table today.
My pleasure.
And to everyone listening, thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Remember, the era of betting on a gut feeling is dead. Trust the grid, analyze your lines, and use the physics to your advantage, because out there on the mound today, there is zero margin for error. We'll catch you on the next one.